Good afternoon. It's September the 19th, 1993. We're at the U.S. Open 9-ball tournament at the Chesapeake Holiday Inn in Norfolk, Virginia. I'm Grady Mathews in the booth with Ed Sheahan. Ed, what do we have in store for our viewers?
Well, I think it's an exciting match. Mike Sigel has won a very, very exciting 3 matches in a row to get to this position. Johnny Archer, of course, being sent to the loser side by Tony Ellin, has defeated Efren Reyes, Jose Perica, neither player to get 4 games. This is a picket if there is one.
You're right. Johnny Archer, in the opinion of a lot of leading experts, is the best 9-ball player in the world today. Yet, Mike Sigel, if I had to pick one great champion who seems to play perfect pocket billiards when it gets down to this stage of yet another major event, it would certainly be he.
Boy, he certainly has a tremendous record when it comes to the end of the tunnel. He's probably the winningest player in quarterfinals and finals of all the players currently on the tour.
That's for sure. And of course, Johnny Archer, let's mention what he did last year. He practiced 1 week with Nick Varner, having never played a game of straight pool in his entire career, and won the first major straight pool tournament he entered. With a run of 201.
Yes, he ran 148 and out, and the crowd wanted him to continue, and he went on to run his first 200-ball run, happening to be at the Cleveland Open.
That's right.
He went ahead, I don't know if you're aware that he won the 9-ball and the 10-ball in that tournament also. The Triple Crown, if there is such a name for pocket billiards.
Well, that's been done before. Larry the Iceman Hubbard did it twice. He was a great player. Nobody ever mentions his name anymore, but he was possessed of remarkable all-around capability. Well, let's see where the captain elects to break from. Our tuxedoed rack person. Here we go. I can't think of any place I'd rather be.
Unless, well, perhaps standing there with the cue in your hand.
Well, I had forgotten about that. Certainly, you're right about that.
Well, the end ball flew right in the 6th ball in the upper right-hand corner.
All right, we'll know momentarily if the 1 passes the 3 ball. If it does, you may rest assured he'll be shooting at this. If it does not, he's looking right now to see. If not, he'll play a safety.
Looks to me that Nick Varner perhaps gave Mike a big stick of gum before the match here.
That's possible. Well, they don't allow us to smoke anymore. I wish they'd bar the gum and drinking water and everything else. I think he's going to knock this up to the middle of the other end rail, like so. He's struck it a little easier than he wanted to.
Well, he got the cue ball on the rail, though, giving Johnny a pretty difficult shot. I wonder if
Johnny doesn't have a hard shot here. He can't scratch because the 8 ball blocks the cue ball going in the pocket. He can knock it back up to the other end of the table if he wants to.
I think he'll just trade places with the cue ball and the 1 ball here.
Well, let's see. I don't like trying to knock it over behind the 8. That's the shot I like right there. And he snookered Mike behind the 7 ball.
Mike may have a piece of this 1 ball. I'm not sure. If he does, he'll probably bank it. Probably bank the ball to a safety, thinning the 1 ball.
Mike has a new girlfriend from Germany, as does Jimmy Reed. I'm going over there in December. Do you think that bodes well for my prospects?
They probably remember the war, Grady.
That'd be my luck. They'd remember the war. All right, he's looking at how to kick this. You know, there's a pretty good kick here. And he can kick it just like he's trying to do, but I like hitting it fairly thick here. A lot of good things can happen.
Yeah, bring the 1 down by the 5.
Like that. A lot of good things can happen.
Well, that wasn't one of them, unfortunately.
No, but look at this shot here, Ed. He wants to use a little low right English, and the 3 ball affects his bridge a little bit. Now, I don't know if Johnny's going to do this, being the great player he is, but there's a natural tendency to hit this shot too thickly. Oh, he split the wicket.
Yes, he has, and he's made his first ball in this semifinal match.
We stand corrected. It's a quarterfinal match. Although I don't think our producer is correct, Ed. The quarterfinals, if I'm not mistaken, is when it's down to 8 players.
Wow, he was very fortunate for that to win. These are relatively tight pockets, And he almost bobbled that ball. He's got an excellent angle on the 3 ball to move the cue ball around for the 5. Is that the 4 ball up by the side, Grady, or the 7? I can't really tell at this vantage point.
It's the 7 by the side pocket, but this is the 4 right here. He's in great shape here. Now the 5 goes in either pocket at the other end of the table. So the only question is whether he draws it straight back or punches it to the rail.
I think he'll draw this straight back.
Well, he'll want to stay on the left side of the 9, like so. I like that punch shot. If he had the angle to do that, which he obviously did, that's a better selection, I believe. Now he may go 2 rails around the 8 here.
Good shot selection. It almost ensured he'd get the proper angle moving towards the 8 after pocketing the 7.
Now he'll just come out 1 rail here. High left-hand English, not much left, maybe just a hair like so. And without much further ado than that, it's going to be 1-0 advantage Johnny Archer. And as usual, Ed, I got to tell you, I've had a barrel of fun here this week at the U.S. Open.
It has been indeed a slice of heaven, Mr. Say, and it's amazing how relaxed Johnny looks. I think the exposure under these conditions with the crowds and the cameras around Johnny, he's learned to relax quite a bit, where just 2 years ago, when Johnny's probable first exposure to the TV cameras was noticeably visible with his play.
He lost a traumatic match to Buddy Hall, going to 9 for TV purposes. He was leading 7-1 and inadvertently missed a relatively easy 9-ball shot and ended up losing that match.
Well, that was here at the U.S. Open, and once again last year, losing to Tommy Kennedy. But
yes. But you're right. He does appear to be relaxed.
It's going to be interesting to see if Johnny, his notable break being the 1 ball in the right side pocket, if he elects to hit this a little harder, if he's a little pumped up because of the conditions.
Well, no, I don't think so, Ed. Most of the pros, including myself, have taken 25% or so of the power off of the break because of the Texas Express rules. Ball in hand anywhere on the table is a severe penalty, and he'll want to control the cue ball. Now, he's capable of hitting the break shot with much more velocity than that.
He's pocketed 2 balls on that break. Has an excellent shot at the 1. I do believe that goes under the 2 here.
Yes, it does. Well, he's looking at it. It might be borderline. And I believe he can make this. And what a lot of people overlook, a lot of times, even if it won't quite go by, it kisses in off the 2 ball like that.
Yeah. Excellent observation, Grady.
Okay.
Well, it looks like a real good layout for Johnny. Doesn't really have any ball in trouble. The biggest shot is probably the 3 to the 4.
Well, he has to avoid hitting straight in. That's the only way you can mess this up, really. That's ideal. And that's why he took the 1 rail route as opposed to going around the 9 ball.
He'll probably lay this on the other long rail, giving him an angle.
This time it would not have been the end of the world had he gotten straight in on the 6. But he's fine here. He's got a perfect angle. A little low right English. And he's got an angle to punch this out 1 rail.
He seems to be playing with extreme confidence. Those punch shots there kind of show the temperament of the player, and especially the early stages of a match. Very confident.
Well, this guy's a great player anyway. When he's on his game, I've never seen anybody that played better 9 ball.
He just seems to block everything away from the table, out of his mind. Well, keeping score here, we'll just count the runouts, and from the break, it is 1-0 Archer from the break and runouts, leading this match 2 games to love, shall we say?
Sure. That apparatus kind of dangling in the foreground of the pool table is from ESPN handiwork.
I thought that was Accu-Stats' new camera myself, Grady.
What, the one that was...
Yeah, so
Well, Pat Fleming, of course, he's our boss, and a fine gentleman he is to be in the employ of. Takes good care of us.
not to certainly take anything away from his son.
No, this is a nice crew. All right, this is Mike Siegel's first realistic opportunity at the table. And of course, you have to love this great champion's game, as attested to by the many titles he's won over the years.
How many times has he won the U.S. Open, Grady?
6 or 7.
I know he has a difficult 6-ball here looking down now with the 6 and 9 there. Do you think he'll play for the billiard?
Well, either the billiard or a shot, and of course straight pool helps you a lot with this kind of perpetration. The 6 is awkward possibly for the billiard, and if so, he could hit the 6 into the rail and then into the 9. Now there's a tendency to hit that kind of shot too thick. Now notice how he looked just now surreptitiously at the billiard.
Well, the 5-ball is in a difficult spot also. I don't know that that passes the 7. He's got a little work here.
I think he's got a half a pocket. There's a nice close-up thanks to Rick Bowling. He's got a nice angle to go around the 5 or go into it.
I think he may go into it here because I don't really think he likes
No, he's not
the
going to
half
go
a
in.
pocket.
He's not going to go into it. Because if he doesn't hit it thickly, he could knock it down to where the 6-9 block it going anywhere. He's looking to see exactly what direction the cue ball is going to go. I think he's going to go right around this and just accept the half pocket shot. No, you're right. He went into it.
It looked to me like he had a very, very slight piece of that pocket there, and he doesn't want to start playing here. He wants to settle down, and I don't think cheating pockets in his potential first game's victory here. He's looking at the billiard, I think.
Yeah. And he can just cut the 5 in the side and come back all around the vicinity of the spot or perhaps a little higher. That's ideal. Has to be real careful not to double kiss the 6. He's going to draw this a little bit, I believe. No, he's just going to spin it.
Just roll a ball in. He's hit it nice.
Nice shot.
I think an interesting point there was the speed. Sometimes I think a weaker player, perhaps than Mike, gets so preoccupied with perhaps the billiard or the combination that they forget about the cue ball. And it's very easy on a shot like that to then make the 9-ball and follow the cue right behind it into the pocket.
That's a good point.
As Efren Reyes happened to do yesterday.
You have to be careful of anything bad that can happen to you to defeat a Johnny Archer. It's necessary to play near perfect pool.
So that Mike seems to have a new break cue.
Really?
That happens to be the new Falcon break cue, Grady.
How coincidental that you're a Falcon manufacturer or dealer and so on.
It is somewhat ironic, isn't it?
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. You're also the owner of an elegant, very nice pool room. And I still like calling it pool room. I don't like family recreation center.
Well, it's Emerald City Billiards and Storm Door Company, I think it's referred to in the local area. Well, Mike's pocketed 2 balls in the break. Actually, 1 ball in the break.
I tell you, you're not a good guy to have for an enemy. There's one gentleman who comes around these tournaments. Now, he's a friend of mine. I try to be friendly with everybody, but I happen to like this gentleman. Anyway, he has a wooden leg, and you became upset with him once and wished that termites would.
No, now Richie Ambrose was the one who sent Tony a jar of termites for Christmas.
Is that right?
And that is a true story.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tony's a good guy. Anytime a guy comes around that you can win 10 or 15 or 20,000 from gambling, that's nice. And Tony's always taking good care of the pool players.
I think you have a better chance probably of catching malaria of winning 15,000 from Tony.
Well, I disagree with you, but he made a nice shot here.
He did. Mike's used to these cameras, as we mentioned before, and I really think he just wants to settle down.
really don't think the crowd, which he certainly is so used to playing in front of.
He got a little more
Bothered me
angle
at all.
than he would have liked. He wants to see how far he can come out. The 8 may interfere with the bridging of this shot a little
He
bit.
may very well want to draw this down and bump the 7. I don't know if he can hold this ball. He seems to be jacking up.
Well, he has to. The 8 ball's in his
But I mean,
way.
hitting the ball low, do you go across here or do you try to come down and bump the 7? I think that's what he tried. He tried to bump the 7 there, and he's got himself in a kind of a difficult spot here. Let's see him play safe here. Where do you play safe from here, Grady?
Well, this might be cuttable in the side. I can't see how close. No, it's not cuttable on the side.
And I don't believe he has a bank cross side with the 7 there.
He'd play 2 rails and leave the 5 in the middle of the end rail.
And try to put the cue behind the 9?
Yeah, that's the shot I like.
That's exactly what he did.
He didn't get it behind the 9, but now see, Johnny has a shot to put him behind the 6 ball here.
R2-D2 being behind Johnny.
Well, Johnny's kind of gangly anyway. He's a good guy, too. He's just, reminds me of Buddy Hall. He's just a good old boy.
Just recently married last week.
Yeah, he's got a new home. Lives in Raleigh, North Carolina. That's the shot I like, to go in behind the 6. Not too difficult a shot.
Did a nice shot, too.
And again, the safety play out here has picked up dramatically. All the guys play good safety now.
These two in particular, in terms of their kicking ability, I think one of the big parts of this game is certainly the safety game and the ability to get out of the safety game.
That's for sure. Well, Mike Sigel is a
Matt
great,
say this ball around the 6.
very creative player.
And he's hit a great shot if he covers here. And well, he certainly blocked the pocket with the 6 ball. He's in good shape. Although Johnny bunt this and try to bring the cue behind the 6.
Well, that's not a bad shot. If so, he'll want to use a little left English, kind of a center ball or just above center.
He hit that a little harder, I think, than he wanted to.
Well, he went through the ball a little bit. That's the reason I suggested the use of a center ball. But at any rate, he's let the 5 ball leak out. And Mike's got an excellent opportunity here.
Here's Mike with Alien 4. That machine was in Alien 3. I don't know if you realize that.
I wouldn't be at all surprised. So was one of my ex-wives.
She had the lead in that, as I recall.
That's correct. Of course, this shot would be easier to reach for a right-handed player. Now, he didn't mean to hit the 6. I don't think.
Well, he's gotten away with it for sure. Hit a nice shot, pocketing the 5. I think he probably wanted to go 4 rails around and come back for the 6, but was very fortunate after he bumped it.
Well, I don't know that he likes this angle.
Man, we'll probably see him. If you saw Efren shoot this, he'd probably take it to the bottom, draw it to the bottom rail, and back up.
Well, that's the shot I like here.
A little inside.
Absolutely the correct shot. Well, he didn't really need anything on it.
I think he'll bunt this and play the 9 in the right.
Well, he won't
corner.
bunt it. He'll hit it with low left English and hit it at the
I don't
nice
think
medium
he'll-
speed. Like that.
Well, with my game, that's a bunt, and I normally hit everything too hard.
All right, 2 apiece.
The score is tied at 2.
Well, this has been a very well played match.
We are playing a race to 11, as opposed to the tournament race to 13 earlier. I believe this match is race to 11.
That's my understanding.
The tournament all week should come down to these 2 players, or in the quarterfinal match here.
80 contestants, by the way.
Barry Berman and his staff at Q-Masters really did a super job putting this tournament together.
They always do. The U.S. Open is a grand event. They borrowed a little something from the U.S. Open straight pool event every year, in that the referee is tuxedoed and white gloved.
Little style to the game.
Sure.
So deservedly.
Well, here we go. Mike will agonize over his break position sometimes. He's not doing that today.
He fired the end ball into the right pocket. It's made 2 balls.
I don't know if you can see this or not.
If you can't see this, where do you push to the shot? You may jump this because you really don't have a good push.
He's got the jump cue in his hand. This short aberration that we've come to think of and call the jump cue. If I'd have known pool hustling was going to come to that 30 years ago, I'd have been a car salesman.
You'd have been a good one too, Grady. You have all the prerequisites to become a used car salesman, I think.
Yeah. Well, I normally excel at anything that doesn't make money. Well, all pool players are possessed of talents possibly better utilized elsewhere. Well, he's shaking his head, but that doesn't mean anything. Mike shakes his head all the time.
Jimmy Fusco, our very good friend, recently was going to sell his car. But he told me it had 105,000 miles on it, and I just, against better judgment, Jimmy said, "What can I do to sell this car?" And I said, "Jimmy, perhaps maybe you could turn the mileage back." I saw him the following week. He still had the car. I said, "Why didn't you sell it?" And he said to me, "Why should I sell it? It only has 12,000 miles on it."
Well, no commentary, but with you and I doing the work would be replete without a couple of Jimmy Fusco stories. Now, Johnny loves a jump cue. He's going to take this shot, and he's real accurate with it. I'd be highly surprised if he doesn't pocket this one. Uh-oh.
Unforced error number 1 for sure.
Well, Mike made a good decision in where he rolled out to.
The way Mike's been jumping the balls this week, he's really just started to jump balls. He always elected to kick or use the masse, and his experience in jumping balls is relatively short-lived. And I think if I was Johnny at that point, of course he has such confidence in his jump shot, he had watched Mike's games, and Mike, I do not believe, made 1 jump shot.
Well, I wish you hadn't reminded me of that. That's one of my problems with the jump cue, as Mike prepares to play position for the 4-8 combination. I can teach anybody.
Wow.
Oh.
He's going to luck this in the corner, it looks like. It's got the speed. That's very fortunate for Mike. And 9 ball, there is a degree of a luck factor here.
Well, that would never happen in one of my 9-ball tournaments because you have to call them. It would go on the spot. It'd be Johnny.
Well, you wouldn't have missed the ball in the upper left anyway.
But anyway, I can teach anybody of average age and intelligence how to jump a ball in 30 minutes. It takes years to learn how to kick well.
Yeah, that's true.
What I cannot teach him is how to do what Mike did on the 2-ball there.
Well, that happens to be a good 1-pocket shot of yours, doesn't it? Drawing the ball and bringing it up full into the table if you start in 1 pocket.
With the object ball, doubling it out of the corner, it's a shot not in my repertoire.
That might be the only one that's not in there.
Well, it's certainly one.
Where do
of
you
them.
play to play this out?
He'll play.
Boy, did that lengthen out. I think he was a little lucky there. I don't think he wanted to lengthen that ball as much as it might.
Well, he didn't mean to come quite that close to the corner, but he made it look easy.
Looks to be Mike's going to take the early lead 3-2.
I notice how he shoots this just below center right English. All the pros do this.
It's the natural shot.
Sigel 3.
The characteristic shaking of his head.
Well, I don't
pocket
know.
9.
I don't know that my input will ever change anything. I've been after him for years to change the rules of this darn game. And as things stand right now, it doesn't look like anything's ever going to occur. But I'm going to do a couple of 9-ball events next year, and you may rest assured that won't occur.
Be lucky of the 2-ball, you're going to have a completely cold ball 9-ball tournament?
Sure. Well, there have been 14 of them, you know.
No, I was not aware of that. Mike has pocketed 2 balls in the break this time. He seems to have found a spot to break from. Most of the players electing to break from the side rail. Mike is his foul spot towards the center.
I like that place that he's using.
I think it's probably a little easier to control the cue ball after the breaking from
Right,
it.
that's the reason that I like it, and you get almost as good action as from the side. Some of the guys that break from all the way over by the side rail, they seem to have a little wildness in their cue ball. Okay, that's a 2-ball, I believe, that he's shooting by, is it not?
I believe it is, yes. He'll probably bring this around 2 rails to try to get straight. Oh, he wouldn't look to go around the table.
No, that's not the 2-ball. That must be the 8-ball. For what it's worth, to all of our listeners, Ed and I are doing this commentary from a monitor, so we're seeing the same thing that you'll see on this tape.
Yes, there seems to be about 500 people in front of us as they watch this. Mike seems to be in control now.
That's the 4-ball.
Well, we went from the 2 to the 4. It's 2 to the 8 to the 4.
Well, that particular color is hard to tell.
Well, being colorblind does hinder a good performance here, I think.
Yes, it does. Uh-oh, went a little too far. Now he's going to have to play this on the side and go 3 rails around the 9, I believe.
I think he's going to play it in the corner.
Well, you may be right. Since he is above it, now he'll go 2 rails.
Back and forth, you think?
On the other side of the side, he won't try to stay on the side that the 7's on. Just like that.
Nicely done.
Okay, the cameraman reposing nicely by Jan left-hand corner pocket. Didn't phase Mike a bit. You know, I wonder what's going to happen with Chris now that Mike and Chris are divorced. There's a lot of pool players that were really interested in Chris. I wonder if she's going to establish a relationship with another pool player.
Well, Chris is a nice girl. Pretty, very pretty
nicest,
girl.
Yeah. Well, if she uses her head at all, she won't have anything to do with any pool players.
That's probably, well, with the exception of perhaps
Okay,
Mike.
McCready, perhaps. No, I'm just kidding. All right, 4-2.
Well, I think a lot of your ex-wives make up the women's tour. Is that correct, Grady?
You ought to see this last wife of mine, this last ex-wife.
Wow,
If she ever
did you see the end ball fire, the one straight up?
Sure. I mean, if she ever gets married again, I get to stop paying her every month, right? So I got her.
I heard you were pen pals.
Well,
where
I
you
got
sign
her a
the front
date.
and she signs the back.
I got her a date with a nuclear physicist. No kidding, and she wouldn't have anything to do with the guy. Well, this is dramatic to me. Nobody remembers. Every once in a while they do, and that's nice, but Mike missed a ball. He made a poor shot, and instead of the score being 3-2 favor of Johnny Archer with Johnny at the table, it's now 4-2 with no signs of Mike leaving the table.
That's an excellent point. The 2-ball, which he missed in the upper left-hand corner, came down, was pocketed in the back pocket, and enabled Mike to continue what appears to be one of his straight pool runs. It's the length of time he'll be at the table.
Well, when the corner ball is going in about every game, I remember here 2 years ago, we counted doing the commentary for Accu-Stats Productions, 29 games in a row the ball went in the same corner.
That happens to be the number of balls that Francisco Bustamante, in 10 successful breaks against Mike LeBron, pocketed on his break. He broke 12 times, scratching twice, but in the other 10 successful breaks, he pocketed 29 balls. That certainly makes the game of 9-ball a little easier, doesn't it?
Well, it's a game very difficult to deal with.
Mike definitely seems in control here.
Sure, he's in control.
I think what's going to be interesting, when Mike does sit and is forced to leave the table, and Johnny should win his next game, if he elects to break where Mike is breaking from now as opposed to the side.
I doubt it. Johnny's very comfortable with his break position. But sometimes things are preordained, almost destiny, fate, karma, what have you. Here's what happens a lot of times. Now, Mike ratted in the 2-ball. He's still at the table. It's 5-2, right? That's a 4-game swing. And a lot of times when he finally does miss, the other guy doesn't have a shot. That could happen. I'm going to be interested to see if it does.
Yeah, so it's an excellent point. 4-game swing being Johnny would have won that game. Assuming Johnny would have won that game, then Mike pocketed it too in a different pocket that he tried to pocket it in. Let's see if the end ball goes. No, it hit high that time. But he's pocketed the 1 twice in a row now in this upper left-hand corner.
Well, he's got a nice shot on the 2-ball here.
Boy, he seems to already have established the Mike Sigel rhythm. And the characteristic shaking of the head when everything didn't fall in.
That's how he shakes his head if you try to put the bite on Mike. I'm just kidding, he doesn't really. That's a 3-ball in the middle of the table, I believe.
When Mike has left the tournament room every day this week, goes to his hotel room, gets his fishing rod, and has been out bass fishing out back here in beautiful downtown Chesapeake, Virginia.
It is gorgeous. Well, he's scared of the side pocket. See, the 3 doesn't. It'll go over there by the 6, I believe.
I don't know that the ball does fit in the upper left.
It might not, because otherwise I think he would already have shot.
Well, I think the good news for him is that he might be able to try to bring this past the 5.
Well,
the 5 does guard the side at preventing the scratch. I think he's already considered that.
Well, he can go on the side here. The 5 doesn't block the scratch. Nice shot.
Well, he did a great shot. What a nice stroke. And
that's a 4-ball on the far left-hand side rail. There's a nice shot of Mike stroking the ball. Well, he's not going to like this.
no, I don't understand why he did that.
Well, he meant to go around it, I think, but
the
now,
5 being fairly close to the side pocket, he really didn't have to do a lot with the 3, did he, to get to the 4-5?
But now he cannot get on the 5. When I say cannot, it's too low a percentage shot.
He may try to sneak under the 9-ball and go 3 rails around.
Well, he can't get. If the cue ball were off the rail 2 or 3 inches, that'd be fine, and it would require a ball first hit. But he can't get it long enough to miss the 8.
He's drawing the ball back.
Well,
What a difficult shot
that's
to pass the
suicidal.
side.
That's suicidal. I, for one, will think he's taking a leave of his senses if he tries to do that. I think he's just going to try to.
Well, he seems to be going after this. He doesn't want to give the table to Johnny.
He's going to go back and forth across the table. No, he tried to come all the way back.
Now, does he get? I don't believe he got away with it. But Johnny's faced with a very difficult shot here. The 9-ball could very well hinder his getting to the 5.
Well, what he's got to watch is a 2-rail scratch. If he can make it, and I believe he can, see, he can't really draw this or even use a center ball. He could hit the 8.
I think he's looking at to go under the 9 here.
Right, you go under the 9.
But how do you miss at that angle? How do you miss the 8-ball?
Well, you go right around the 8. He's going to miss the 8. The problem is that it's a natural 2-rail scratch.
Up here by his hand.
Right. Well,
How was that, baby?
that was a great shot.
Boy, after sitting in a chair for 4 games, that's quite a shot to start with.
Excellent shot.
Got a nice angle in the 6 to move over for the 7.
Yeah, he'll want to be just out in the middle of the table here. Like so.
It certainly doesn't seem to be any rattling in Johnny Archer from Mike lucking that 2-ball, making 3 positive games from that.
Well, he's got a good positive attitude, Johnny does. He's got some nice endorsements. He's been the #1 player in the world off and on for the last couple of years. He's got a wonderful young wife and a new home. There's nothing to feel bad about. All right, it's 5-3.
Archer, 3.
And once again, I think we could probably expect a close, exciting match.
Now, let's see what he does. He's thinking about breaking where Sigel broke. This is interesting because rarely does Johnny break with his hand on the table as opposed to the side rail. He's watched that end ball go for Mike Sigel in the last 3 breaks.
Well, actually, yeah, he's moved back over, though. He's about 6 inches farther to the right than Mike Sigel. All right, here we go.
Let's see if he plays it for the 1 in the upper left-hand corner and the end ball. The end ball fired into the corner. Oh, he's got a very unfortunate break there, pocketing 2 balls in the break. He's going to be forced to push out.
Well, I would push out on the end rail, the far end rail, between the 8 and 9, and plan to play a safety if Mike told me to shoot it again.
You mean crossing the 1,
right?
Down by the 2, trying to bring the cue up there.
And I wouldn't worry about it too much if Mike took it, because there's not that much to get behind. And I really don't see anything else that's reasonable. That's fine. He just...
well, Mike has an opportunity to get under the 8 ball here, if that is the 8 in the upper right.
Right, that's what I don't like about this, is leaving it that close to the 1 ball. But I don't think Mike will try to get behind the 8, because if he tries to get behind the 8, the 1 could come over close to the lower left-hand side pocket, or corner pocket.
You think he'll try to bank this 1 into the 2, leaving it there, bringing the cue down table?
I think he'll go try to get behind the 9 here. All right, well, he went down like this. Didn't quite get it there, but he wanted to get behind the 9 there, I believe.
Well, he's left Johnny a very difficult shot. And does Johnny play safe here, trying to get behind the 7 in the upper right?
Well,
the 1?
now I like Johnny's shot. You hit the 1 to the end rail, then the 2 ball, right? Cue ball 1, 2, 3 behind the 8.
I like going off the right side of the 1, going 3 rails behind the 7.
Well, it's a 7. Excuse me. It is a 7. But that's what I meant. I said behind the 8.
That shot.
Well, that's exactly what I called. I just mixed up the 7 and the 8. Of course, Mike can hit this ball. See, I can't see the shot, so I can't.
Mike may try the same thing.
No, he'll put him behind the 2 here, I think.
That's exactly what he's trying.
Well, he had the 2 and the 5
both. He may get
both.
behind the 5. I don't know if Johnny can see this. If he can, I believe he'll elect to jump this 5 ball.
Well, he can jump this with his regular cue.
He may be able to see this 1.
Well, he's looking at it right now. I think it's close is what the deal is. And if he's only got a little bit of the 5 to go over, he'll just use his regular cue. And he wouldn't have gotten down and squinted at this upcoming shot. Here he goes, regular cue stick.
And then he has a partial part of the 5 to jump, so he doesn't have to jump that hard. Didn't have to really hit it that hard, I think, to get over that just portion of the 5. Jumping a whole ball, I think, requires much more elevation.
All right, now Mike can shoot at the bank and play safe, or he can just park Johnny behind the 8 ball.
I think that's what he's going to do.
I think that's the right shot. 2 rails. 1,
I like that shot a lot.
2. Yeah, and again, let's talk about percentages, Ed. You can do that 100% of the time. Why not take that?
Now Johnny's forced. I believe Johnny's going to try to pocket this 1. He's not going to even consider the kicking the 1 down the table and bringing the cue up.
Well, I might hit this shot easy, or medium speed anyway, and not try to make it. Either side of the 1 that he hits, he has an excellent chance to get safe. The only way he really sells out is to hit it thick.
If he hits this fairly thick, though, with the speed just to pocket it, and he misses it, now that's going to turn out as... I don't believe he tried to pocket that ball, because had he pocketed that ball at that speed, I think the cue would have carried down the end of the table.
Now look how this is like. Mike has got a free bank on the 1. Up here in the right-hand corner pocket, lower right-hand corner. I mean, assuming the 1 didn't get frozen. He's got 3 balls in which to have the 1 end up behind. And he for sure...
And they're free, and I see what you mean, and you have a shot at the 2 balls.
He'll have a shot at the 2 if he makes it. But if it's frozen, of course, he'll have to make a different selection. And if it's frozen, what he might consider is knocking the 1 up around the 6 ball and going 3 rails.
Coming under the 8 and the 2 again.
Sure. Well, we'll know momentarily.
I think Mike's going to try to pocket this 1, banking this in the upper right. or the lower red, I guess, from our vantage point. Just a little short, and he's giving Johnny a shot. I think overcutting that ball would have been better than undercutting that.
Right.
Perhaps that's what he tried. I think he wanted to try to protect the cue ball and maybe play both the safety and the ball.
But this is a tough shot here. The cue ball is going to go into the 5. I would just try to shoot this in with no English. But you could hit the bottom part of the 5. Rats, we got caught. We tried to sneak a cigarette in. It didn't work. Well, now they're about even. The rolls are about even. Mike got lucky
Well, I
on
still
the 2
like.
ball, but Johnny got lucky here.
I'm still favoring Mike's 2 ball that he pocketed earlier. Which
Look what he's trying to do here. He's trying to go 2 rails.
pocket the 1 ball.
No, he's not trying to pocket it. He's trying to hit it thinly and go around the 5 to the side rail and back up the other end of the table. That's what he was looking at originally.
Well, is the 1 frozen to the 8 where he has a possible billiard off the 8 into the 1?
No,
The carom?
no, but the 2 rail kick he's looking at this way. If he hits the high side of the 1, the cue ball then hits the 8 and goes back up around the 9 and 7.
This is probably a higher percentage safety.
But a
than
tougher hit.
He certainly does.
The other is a cinch hit.
Now, if he hits the 1 thick, he's going to leave Johnny a shot on the 1 ball.
Well, the 1 might bank across corner off the 8. I would try to hit the inside of the 1 here and slug this. He doesn't have a finesse safety here.
If he hits underneath it, he's got to...
Like that. Oh, it did go off the bar. That was the right shot. Had it not gone, he had a good chance to get it safe, too.
The first smile from Mike. Probably should be the second smile after he had pocketed that 2 earlier. It would certainly have gotten a smile from me.
Well, they're even up on the roll, so one apiece. And he's perfect here. He'll just punch this off the rail 3 or 4 inches.
Given the same circumstances, which player do you like coming from behind?
Either one. I don't think there's a marked advantage in that category.
I had played Mike in this tournament earlier. I had him 3-3 and he came back on me.
He did.
Yes. No, he rather easily defeated me earlier in this tournament.
All right. It is 6-3 at the moment. Favor of Mike Sigel.
Sigel 6, Archer 3.
That was a hard shot Johnny had. When you have to lag a ball in and cut it, it's real easy to hit it too thick or too thin. Plus, it wasn't even natural. He had to go into the 5 ball with the cue ball and no assurance of exactly how thick he was going to hit it.
Well, if he had to miss it, he certainly missed it in a good fashion and leaving Mike an extraordinarily difficult shot.
Well, he
which
didn't mean to do that.
But, I mean, after missing the ball, as it turns out, things couldn't have been worse for him. But I think after he had missed the ball, he felt fairly comfortable he hadn't sold out.
Let's see if Mike continues his good breaking.
Same exact spot he's broken all night here. And the end ball fired in the 1 in the upper left again. That's 3 times he's made the 1 ball in the lower left-hand pocket.
Now look at this.
How is the cue ball squatting right
The
there?
5 to the 6 is the only problem here. And he's got a nice angle. He's going to shoot the 2 and get on the right side of straight in on the 3 ball and just punch the cue ball over for position on the 5, just like this. And he just wants to come over a few inches, and he'll have a nice angle to pocket the 5 and get on the proper side of the 6 ball. Beautiful shot. But he went a little farther than he meant to.
Well, he probably has enough angle to punch this out and bring it back.
But he has to be careful here.
He doesn't want to bump the 7.
Right. And let's talk about that. Were he to moved the 7, and then the cue ball came anywhere close to where the 7 was, that would be a foul.
And they're playing all ball fouls.
They might. Sometimes for the TV matches, they institute that rule.
I mean, Pat had mentioned earlier they're playing all ball fouls.
Okay.
Which could show certainly up here.
Well, maybe you could explain to me the reasoning behind playing differently for TV than you do during a regular tournament.
It perhaps is for the interest of faster play. Ball in hand. I don't know. That's a good point.
No, it just seems to me that the TV matches ought to be the same as a regular tournament.
A nice shot there. That was a little more difficult shot, I think, that presented itself.
Well, Mike Siegel's been making that kind of shot for 25 years.
He very well could be the best shot maker on the tour. He certainly or Earl Strickland are known for their shot making ability.
Now this is a shoot and stop proposition on the remaining 2 balls. And as soon as he pockets a 9 ball, it's going to be 7-3 advantage Mike Siegel.
And against most players, that might be a commanding lead, but against the Johnny Archer, this match is still very much alive. Johnny recently in Chicago running 13 consecutive racks.
Yes.
That is, you don't hear of those too often. As a matter of fact, I've never heard of anyone running 13 racks. I believe he did that on the Philippine player Francisco Bustamante. And then Francisco wanted to bet 2 cups of coffee instead of 1 cup the very next set. I don't know if it was coffee they were wagering.
No. Well, pool without a sociable wager, I mean, it's almost sacrilegious. 7-3, no signs of abatement. There's a nice shot of both the ESPN cameras, capturing these noteworthy events for posterity. They should tape one of my early morning Saturday speeches at one of these tournaments. That would serve future.
I like the sophisticated equipment
well.
of the cardboard keeping the glare off the lens, the $500,000 lens, the very sophisticated piece of cardboard.
That's a great point. You can take a rubber band and a paper clip and do like things.
That's probably the most state-of-the-art camera available today, and
you know what that makes me think of, talking about that, Eddie? How many rubber bands I've emptied. You know, I'd have a rubber band just chock full of hundreds, and I'd wake up the next morning and it'd be devoid of cash. Just an empty rubber band.
But you had a smile on your face, Grady. I think that's...
Depending on how I got...
Depending how you spent the... Well, for the first time, Mike has come up empty on the break. That's amazing, the way the cue ball jumped to the right there, which leads me to believe he didn't hit the one quite as square as he had in the past.
Right, and hitting it square a lot of times will force that corner ball through the ball it's by and have it go into the corner. You're right, I don't think he hit them solidly.
The amazing part about 9-ball, like track, it used to be that the quarter mile was a pace race. The mile has now become almost a sprint. And in 9-ball, with the caliber of players today, once you miss a ball, the session could be over.
Oh, that's for sure.
A lot of the straight pool players know, should they miss a ball playing straight pool, in one inning the game could be over, and it was never really thought about in 9-ball, with people like Johnny and Mike running the 8s and 10 racks at a time. Missing a ball is a little more costly than it once was.
Well, look where he got here. This is awkward.
Well, I believe he'll probably play the 4 on the side here.
Oh, I thought he got
maybe
more.
Forced to roll down and play the 4 on the side. I believe the 5 goes by the 8.
Yes, it does, but he got a little more angle than he wanted. See, he didn't have an angle to roll at.
He had a little fortunate there, bumping it towards the side. Straight up and down could have been a big problem for him. Now, do you follow this one rail, or do you take this around the 7?
Well, if he has a full pocket, I would follow it one rail. If I didn't have a full pocket here, I might consider just stopping the ball. That's That's what he's looking at. I don't think he has a full pocket. See, when he cuts the 5 to his right, it puts left English on it anyway, and it's missable. I would draw it out one rail like this before I would try to go around the 7.
There. That's the percentage shot.
Excellent shot. Now he can go 2 rails or 1 rail. Either way is acceptable. He's just going to come up 1 rail. High ball, maybe. Oh, he went 2
I don't
rails.
understand that at all. Why would he do that?
Well, he had more angle than he thought he had. Or he had more angle than we thought he had, excuse me. Now, these aren't all that makeable here. These aren't that easy a shot. You have to worry about the side pocket. But
Did he follow those 2 rails?
No,
Or
he's
drawing this out
just
1?
Punch it out 1 rail. Well, he's made his way through this rack. Seven to 4. Very interesting, Eddie. Mike could possibly have been well on his way to putting the match away at 8 to 3, but he failed to pocket a ball on the break.
Now, where do you think we'll see Johnny break from? Where Mike has, or do you think he'll move closer towards the center?
I think he's going to stay at about 4 inches to the left of the right-hand side rail. Well, one thing about Johnny Archer, he doesn't have any qualms about where to break from. He's possessed of maybe the best break on the tour. Well, he did move out a couple of inches. Last time was about 4 inches. It's about 6 inches.
Trying to power that end ball in the right-hand corner, which is exactly what he's done.
Well, you know, despite trailing 7 to 4, given that corner ball going in on a regular basis, Johnny Archer might even be a slight favorite here.
I think what a lot of the players will do, if they see the corner ball, they will then play the cue with the 1 ball, so they ensure that they'll have a shot.
All right, something came up in that tournament a couple of years ago, right here at the U.S. Open. Mike Sigel was playing Nick Varner, and he was leading 10 games to 3 in that match. And Nick came to the table and started running racks. And the score got to be 10 to 6. And Mike said to Nick, he said, "I'll make the score even, 10 apiece, if you let me break them." Don't you find that fascinating?
That is a little bit.
And Nick said no. Really?
And who won the match?
Nick won it.
Oh, Nick ran the set out?
No, he didn't run the set out, but he won the match. All right, no particular problem here. You can just punch this off the rail 3 or 4 inches, like so. And the 9, he'll have to follow this up. You can't pull this 2 rails short enough to get around the 9. It's a perfect angle. He can just pull the cue ball over with a little draw above the side pocket.
He's going to want a little bit of angle.
Well, you know what you do with this shot, Eddie, and this is good for aspiring 9-ball players. You draw it to the rail and off the rail 6 or 8 inches. Well, he went down the end rail. I don't like going to the end rail to get straight in. Well, he's not straight in.
Boy, he's hit that absolutely perfectly.
I just don't believe he meant to get within 4 or 5 inches of that 8-ball.
He's hitting every shot with extreme authority.
Well, you have to do that. You have to have confidence. Seven to 5. And that's probably the biggest part of my problems with marriage, is that I lacked confidence. I just knew that they were going to be disastrous.
The only ball that's been missed really here has been the 2-ball that Mike happened to pocket in another pocket.
No, Johnny missed a 1-ball too.
Oh, that's right. When
That's interesting too. When Pat Fleming used to keep the Accu-Stats, which are categorized statistics of 9-ball play, he had about 15 different categories. Many of the players would come up to somebody after a match and they'd say, "Man, I didn't miss any balls, or I only missed 1 ball." And Pat Fleming would have it on tape and down statistically in pen or pencil, and it would turn out the guy missed 7 or 8 balls.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you can forget when you get in the heat of competition.
Well, Johnny's got a difficult situation here. He's pocketed 3 balls on the break. Very thin cut on the 1 ball, which I think he's probably going to shoot for sure because he's got a safety built in, bringing the cue ball around for the 2.
Well, he'll make the 1. The only problem is that he can't get it long enough to go 4 rails around the 2. And
Does he hit it easy, trying to hold it up before the 2?
No, I don't think he can do that either. I don't think he can shorten this up. The corner pocket comes into play. He almost looks like he's, yeah, he wants to go 3 rails underneath the 2. 2, 3. Nice shot, nice shot. Well, that required good speed because if he goes a little further, I don't think he had much there. But he's in pretty good shape. He can follow this forward, I believe, for the 3 ball.
There's quite a bit of evidence as to why he's the current world champion.
Oh, the 4 is next. That's the 7 ball. Up around the area of the spot.
And that's a 3 ball.
No, it is a 3, okay. Darn, that 3 and 7 is hard to differentiate the color. Well, he's in great shape now. And I'll tell you, this match is getting more interesting by the moment.
Although Mike, should he pocket these 2 balls, although Mike Sigel would be winning 7-6, you just wonder at this point who's the favorite.
Well, as I suggested a few short seconds ago, Johnny could be the favorite given the way he's breaking the balls. 7-6.
Seems to be a standing along crowd here. It's amazing.
He always has good crowds here at the U.S. Open. Well, it's such a scenic part of the country. The climate is ideal, especially this time of year. Nice facility, first-rate equipment. Let's see if the corner ball goes again. No, it didn't, but he made one.
Well, he made the 5 in the corner. Now, will he adjust his break should he happen to run this rack?
No, I don't think so. Even though the corner ball didn't go.
Well, he seemed like he inched over a little more to the center of the table at that break.
I don't think he's paying exact attention to that. Anywhere within an inch or 2 is okay.
Now, that's the 2 between the 6 and the 8 there?
I can't tell, Eddie, if that's a 2 or if the one by the side pocket is a 2.
Oh, that one by the side pocket, I think it's the 4 between the 6 and the 8.
The one by the side pocket is the 2 ball. Well, I don't know what he's looking at here. Don't you just go 2 rails around the 2? He's worried about getting from the 2 to the 3. I would try to get straight in the corner, the lower right-hand corner.
He's got a fairly thin cut here.
Yeah, but you can hit this with no English at all, or maybe just a touch of left English. Well, he's going to bank this ball or play safe.
Well, that was a pretty smart move when you think, had he missed, and he did miss, he's given Mike no shot at the 1. Had he pocketed the ball, he has a straight-in shot on the 2.
Mm-hmm. From which he could not have gotten position on the 3, I don't think. But it was well thought out.
Yeah, Mike is certainly going to kick this ball.
Yeah, he's too close to that object ball to consider jumping it. Well, I don't see any nice finesse safeties here.
Mike is also playing with a new cue. I believe that's a Gina cue.
Well, Ernie Cotero, who created Gina cues, was the first great cue maker besides Harry Balabushka. Ernie made a lot of money.
George Balabushka.
George Balabushka, yeah, excuse me. I get my names.
His brother Harry.
Brother Harry, yeah. course, in carnival terminology, Harry Owens. That's H-O, short for holdout. And they would say, one carnival worker would say to the other one, "Did you take care of Harry Owens?" He'd say, "Sure." That's the first guy they took care of. Now, if he doesn't scratch.
Wow. Great shot.
Well, I tell you what. Now, Mike looks at me sometimes when he's playing a match, especially if I'm the designated yes man. He says, "Grady knows I played it like that." I do know he played it like that. He played to hit the outside of the one, right? Now, many
A lot of
good
things can happen.
Sure.
I agree. Johnny has a very difficult kick here. If he kicks it one rail, if he doesn't hit the outside of it, it's very easy for this cue ball to lengthen when he comes off the first
Well,
rail.
you can forget about a one rail kick here. That's he needs to find something else to do.
I don't think he has anything else. The two seems to be in his way. I don't think he wants to do anything funny. He may have to go directly across. And this ball is going to lengthen as soon as he hits the rail.
That's a good point, Eddie. You're a terrific kick shot player, and a lot of guys don't understand why that happens or even that it does occur, and certainly it's necessary to good kicking.
Well, with my position play, you must kick well. I don't think he has a three rail here. The two, he's going to shorten this. Do you think he's going to kick it one rail?
He's going to go between the 2 and 8.
And shorten the ball.
Yeah, but you don't need much shorten up. See, that's a nice shot.
Boy, it sure is. He's going to hit a great shot. Wow. No, he kind of just, Mike was up a little bit on the rolls, I think, and maybe that one has certainly balanced the rolls.
I have the rolls exactly even.
And I think when Johnny came around and ended up playing the 4 ball in a previous game in the corner, I think he really wanted to play it from the side.
Oh, that happens all the time. That's
maybe a half a roll, we'll call that.
That's a scenario where you wink at the audience so they know you played it that way. Well, 1 or 2 rails here. What do you do?
Well, the only audience I normally get playing is the guy I'm paying at the end of the session.
Well, you know what I think you do here? You take a 1 rail kick at this and hit it pretty firmly. You could make the 1 off the 3. The 1 could make the 3. The 1 could go straight in. It could kiss off the 3.
I think we're going to see them hit this very firmly.
The 1 could bank. Now, you want to hit slightly on the bottom, just like that, right?
Watch the cue.
Many good things can happen here.
And that's one of them. Well, Johnny may have a shot at the 1 ball.
Well, he's got a shot.
I got a little giggle out of Johnny there as he...
The problem is, well, that's a tiny distance to have such a big impact on a single game 9 ball. That ball missed scratching by, what, 1,000th of an inch? But how does he get on the 2 ball here, Eddie?
Knowing Johnny, he'll probably jack up and bring the cue ball out 1 rail.
Nobody jacks up from the inner recesses of a corner pocket and draws it back, do they? Save possibly Earl Strickland and Keith McCready. We said it at the same time.
The difference being that Earl would make it.
Warp speed high ball. Tough shot no matter what he did.
It sure was, and he was penalized dramatically for it with giving Mike a very easy shot on the 1.
Well, if he's straight in, he's going to have to follow down and play the 2 inside. Because I don't believe it passes the 7. But this is an awkward angle because the 3's on the end rail by
He's
the
going to
right-hand
have to come
corner.
all the way down. He might have a little angle to cheat the pocket and draw this.
Well, he doesn't want to do that. He's got to worry about getting around the 8 to get down the table to the 3 ball.
There's the new Batman bridge. Who makes that bridge? I've seen that used in the tournament here, and I haven't seen it before.
I don't know. Joe Spinelli, our producer, has just informed us.
All the top professionals seem to like it.
Well, let's see how it's properly
I think he's going to cheat the
utilized.
pocket and bring the cue over, creating an angle.
No, I know Mike like
he's
a
rolling
book.
it. You're right. He's
Sure.
rolling it to play the 2 on the side.
He's looking at it, and he doesn't like the angle. I
Well,
don't think.
he looks to be
Well, if
looking
he
at this.
follows this ball, the cue ball goes up there by the 4, 6, 8, I think. Well, maybe he's straighter than that. He'd like to go on the left-hand side of the 6. Okay, he was okay.
He put a nice stroke into that ball.
Well, Mike's such a great position player anyway. rarely shoots a bad shot or makes an unforced error.
He's forced to play this 4 in the corner, in the upper corner here.
Well, now see, drawing this out of there is okay, but it requires a nice stroke and a good touch. I think that's the right shot to draw this 2 rails. No, all right, he's
hit that a little harder than he wanted to, but he's left himself a very difficult shot. But if he makes it, he'll probably come 3 rails around to pocket the 6 in the lower right.
He gazes skyward, well aware of
the characteristic shaking of the head means that he does have a shot.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is one of Mike's better shots. I love the way he hits this shot. Now, see, when he cuts that 4 to his right, it puts left English on it, which helps you pocket the ball. So he'll hit this a nice. I don't think he'll do anything but go straight back and forth across the table. He'd be, see where he's looking there, that's where he wants the cue ball. Just no English, a nice flat ball. Here we go, 1, 2 rails with the cue ball. Planning to play the 6 in the side pocket. Just
very nice shot.
Very nicely done. Now he'll just float down to the 7 ball. I think he's just below center, maybe a touch of left English here. Like so. Nicely done. Now 1 or 2 rails here, doesn't really matter. 2 rails is probably the pro thinking of these days. Like so. And he's made a rather difficult lie of balls appear simplistic. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Eddie, the score is 8-6. 8-6
to lead. Well, that's a little bit of a confidence starter at this point in the match also for Mike.
Sigel, 8. Archer,
not that
6.
Mike needs confidence. He plays with such confidence each and every match. We're playing a Johnny Archer. I just wonder if Mike's even thinking about Johnny when he's playing.
No, he's playing against the table, which is the proper way to pursue this time-honored and quite difficult sport. But Mike won this game and took a 2-game advantage by virtue of good kicking ability. He hit the side of the 1 that he wanted to twice. It wasn't an accident that he hit the outside of the 1 on the former kick and the inside of the 1 on the latter.
I see him talking to the crowd there. It seems to relax Mike as he talks to them.
Oh, he likes to talk to the crowd, and I, for one, don't see anything wrong with that. Audiences enjoy being spoken to, as long as it's not in deprecatory fashion.
I can't seem to find that word in my book here, Grady.
Well, Mike likes to chirp, too. He'll kind of chirp to the audience. But he never says anything bad about his opponent, never.
No, that I would agree with.
See, I hope that money doesn't distance the athletes from the fans in this particular discipline. You can still go to a pool tournament. You can get a car full of your friends and go, and you can talk to a Mike Sigel or a Buddy Hall or a Nick Barner, and that's nice. Look at this, a nice fall afternoon, just in a very elegant hotel, knowledgeable pool audience. I mean, what more could you ask for?
And Mike now is kind of making a few remarks about the balls being racked.
Well, if it weren't that, it would probably be something else. Not an easy job for a lay person, if you will, somebody not firmly ensconced in the industry. I don't know the gentleman racking the balls, but he seems like a workman-like enough fellow. I remember in New York City, the first time I ever played there, I had the honor in the straight pool tournament, the World Tournament, of having Cue Ball Kelly referee a match of mine against Irving Crane, and I was nervous, of course. And Kelly, before he passed away,
he died, I believe, in 1987.
Yeah, greatest referee that ever lived. Anyway, it was an honor to have him referee my match. And if I was nervous, which I was, and I didn't know exactly what ball to shoot, Kelly would call it, which they do in the straight pool tournament. I just stall a few extra seconds.
And he would call your next
7 ball, and I'd know that'd be the right shot.
Well, Mike's come up empty on the break.
Twice in a row.
I think perhaps now maybe we'll see him make a move on the rack.
Well, the question is, Is Mike coming up dry because he's only hitting them with 80% the velocity of Johnny Archer? Now, if that's the case, Mike would be well advised to make an adjustment.
Of course, Johnny came up empty in his last break.
Sure. Well, what does that say? Did the referee make an adjustment?
Well, Cue Ball Kelly's not up there to tell
But you're
him.
not supposed to make an adjustment. You're supposed to deliver the same rack.
Which is
innocuous yet lethal. All right. Is that the 4-ball?
Down the bottom.
far
I
end
believe
rail?
it's the bottom of the table there. I think he's going to go one rail.
Well, but this is not easy.
8's a
you
little
know.
hairy there.
He's got to go 2 rails here.
Yes, I meant one rail. Back and forth across. Little Zorro shot down to the bottom. The big Z there.
Watch out. He doesn't want to hit it.
And I got away with it. I think he wanted to be on the other side
He
of that
did. He
4.
wanted to be on the other side. He's shaking his head, muttering.
It's always better to shake your head when you have a shot after your mistake.
Well, this is a bit
You
problematic.
shake your head not quite as long if you don't have a shot.
Well, I haven't ever learned how to do that. Maybe that's part of my problem. My body language isn't even fit for 9-ball, but that's another story. Nor has it been proper for marriage, but again.
That's why you play a lot of one pocket, Grady.
Yeah. Well, a bit touchy here, too. He can come back up between the 9, 8, 7.
You think he'll do that or 2 rail it around under the 7?
I kind of like that because you don't risk any problem.
He's got to hurry here.
He's fine. He's in good shape. That's the right shot. Now he'll follow this forward. A little bit of left English. No, he was straighter in than I thought. At any rate, he's going to have the 7 on the side and play position probably for the same pocket for the 8-ball.
I got a little bit under that.
Well, here, I like coming up for the 9 in the side
He'll
pocket.
come
Straight
one
up
rail.
and down the table. Like so.
Perfectly struck once again by Johnny.
And it's 8 to 7.
This is just
Well, we knew it would be.
very, so good.
Sigel, 8. Archer, 7.
If I'm not mistaken, the winner of this match plays Tony Ellin
That's correct.
for the right to face Earl Strickland in the finals. A privilege not especially enticing.
Yes, Earl is playing remarkably well. I think a noted thing here might be that in the last tournament, Johnny Archer defeated Mike Sigel in the finals. And I wonder if Mike's thinking about that, because it's been a little bit of a time for Mike between drinks here since he's been in the finals of a tournament, and Johnny defeating him last week. Prior to that, I believe the Bicycle Club was the last finals Mike was in. Was that 2 years ago or was that last year?
I'm not even sure.
He did win the straight pole championships last year, which I don't believe he'll be participating in this year.
No, he's not. Johnny did not make a ball on the break, did he?
Yes, he's
I
making
guess he did.
not a very good shot on the 1, but what do you do here, Grady? Does he come off the 1 here,
Well,
try and go behind the 8?
If he can get to the end rail or the side rail off of the 1
Well, he can't
without
get to the end rail
moving the
here.
1 but without moving the 1 very much, then he's got 2 balls to put the cue ball behind. That's what he's going to do. But he doesn't want much movement on the 1, maybe a ½ inch, an inch. That's fine like that. But now you're going to see Mike kick at this, and he'll want to hit the bottom side of the 1.
He's got a touchy shot here, hitting the bottom side of the 1. He's going to have to restrict this with a little draw.
Oh, wait a minute. He can't get to the side rail. He's going to have to
No.
go 2 rails. Well, he still wants to hit the bottom side of the 1.
He may be forced to jump this. I think he's got a much more difficult shot than our vantage point is showing us here.
Well, this isn't a hard hit. It's 2 natural rails. What he doesn't want to do is hit the 1 thickly.
He wants to miss the point here for sure. And I think he had a very difficult shot there. It's a very short angle. I think our vantage point, the monitor here, didn't make that shot as difficult as it looked.
Now, he's looking at that. He's surprised that he did not hit the 1 ball.
Boy, giving a Johnny Archer ball in hand is a tough road to go.
It's catastrophic. Impeccably attired. are our two combatants this afternoon.
With all the new winning garb.
Yeah.
Have you seen all the new shirts that George
Oh,
Michael's put out?
this has been lovely.
Silk shirts with 9-ball racks. It seems the game
sure.
is.
Yeah, that brings
I don't
back.
understand him playing the combination here. Do you?
Sure, I understand it.
Why did I know you'd say that?
Well, they could have had a problem.
Well, was that the 6 or the 7 ball that he made the combination with?
It was the 7 ball. No, I like what he did there. You know, I wore silk underwear for about a month, and I decided that.
Did you change it?
Yeah, I had to change it. Sure. Well, something that fine.
Well, I think it's interesting when they issued the new billiard attire to the players, and some of the players wanted different types, and they told Keith McGrady had the 9-ball underwear, and they told him, he said he wanted to change, and he changed with Dennis Hatch. You don't have to go over that again, I think.
No, I get that, and that's the lamentable part of it. All right. He's in pretty good shape to draw even closer. Not this matchup at 8 apiece. 1 or 2 rails here is all right, but I think you're going to see most of the guys opting for the 2-rail route. He wants to stay below straight in on the 8.
2 more rails.
Not even necessary to draw this. Just
little
put some
Zorro
left
shot
on.
down to the 9.
1, 2 rails towards the 9. Absolutely correct, as we might expect.
Knotted up at 8. A race to 3, it looks like. All right, giving Johnny the break. What is now going to be a race to 3 and go into 11. What advantage is it, Johnny, having the first break here in this race to 3 from here?
Well, it's a big edge. Mike may not get another good shot for the remainder of the set.
He very well might never get to the table. That's where the break is such an important part of the 9-ball game. And it's probably the least practiced shot by, as you say, up-and-coming aspiring 9-ball players.
Well, that's the first thing you practice. If you're going to practice 9-ball, you rack them up, try to run out. Correct your mistakes and learn in the process. And in that fashion, you won't be like me and have to look around to borrow $200 for eating money. I'm just kidding, of course.
Well,
but that's what's so good about having a good break. Now, Mike is going to be behind the 8 and 2 here. I wouldn't even fool with this going to the end rail with the cue ball. If he could reach it, I'd use a little low left English and make a nice thick hit on the 1 and just punch the cue ball over behind the 2-8.
He's taking the 1 back down by the 9 and the 5.
All right,
yeah.
That's my shot, exactly. But he's in a quandary as to whether he can comfortably reach it.
He may have to draw this ball to.
All right, low left, like so. But he might have left the keyhole.
I don't know if he's giving Mike a window or not here.
Well, this certainly doesn't look like a particularly alluring shot.
Mike realizes that they're now playing a race to 3, and he's forced to. He's doing a minor masse, I believe.
He's going to twist this. And he has a chance here. If he can catch the 1 a little thickly.
Is the 4 ball on there, Grady, in that combination?
No, if it were, he would already have been looking at that eventuality, I suspect.
It
looks like it's going into the side rail.
It perhaps could throw in from the angle he would hit it if he were to hit straight on.
He's going to kick at it. Got to lengthen it out. A lot of right English.
What a great shot.
That's a nice shot. But it's not going to get any better from him.
No, he's going to be down under the 8 again, I think.
No, he can't get him beneath the 8 comfortably, I don't think. He can use left English if he can hit enough of the 1 and hopefully hit the 1 into the 5 or cut it thinner than that.
He's going to have to be careful not to pocket the 5 playing safe here.
Well, he won't hit it that hard. But he can't come long enough to go behind those 3 balls without risking scratching. Certainly doesn't want to do that.
He may have a little more than that than meets the eye here that we from our vantage point. I think he can come to the bottom rail. Well, I think he wanted to hit that a little harder.
Well, if you're Mike Sigel, I don't know if you shoot here. We can get a shot of the whole table here.
I think we're going to see Mike pocket this 1 ball. I don't think he's going to duck it all here.
No, he'll shoot at it. What I would do with this is play the cue ball back into the 8. Or put him behind the 5. That's not a bad shot either.
Play the cue back in. I think he's going to try to pocket the 1 in the left-hand corner and come back for the 2. I think he has this whole ball.
He does have the whole ball, but it's a pretty thin cut.
If he'll probably play to overcut the ball a little bit and to maybe give him a save should he miss it. But he's such a great shot maker. I like him to make this.
Well, the problem with this is the thickness of the hit, and there are several in which you can still pocket the 1, determine the exact direction of the cue ball. I don't think he can risk going into the 9.
I think he's playing this 1 all the way and not really thinking about the 9, knowing he'll get a shot on the 2. We'll see.
See, it wasn't natural.
It's got to slow down. Well, he's okay.
See, I think he tried to do what I suggested. I think he tried to go into the 8.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But there's a lot of bad things could have happened on that shot.
He's got a difficult shot here, bringing the cue back for the 4. He's going to be forced to. I don't know if the angle from here. I think he's going to have to use the rail or just bring it straight back.
Well, he can come back about a foot here, or he can try to go all the way back.
I think he's going to go all the way back.
What a nice shot. Yeah, great shot. Made it look so easy.
He's such a great player. I love to watch him and Johnny play.
He got a little angle too, Eddie. I think he can follow this out 2 rails. Now all he has to do is stay away from this side. Well, he doesn't even have to. He's straighter in than I thought. He can just punch this out 1 rail, I think. Oh, no, he had more angle than I thought. Now he doesn't want to be straight in on a 7. He can go to the end rail or draw it back a little bit. Either way, perfectly acceptable. Being left-handed, now notice this, that would not have been a good shot for a right-handed player. He can reach this comfortably.
It's ironic that Mike is right-handed. The only thing he does is play pool left-handed.
That's not what he told me. He told me he plays gin and makes love left-handed too. But he can't reach this real comfortably.
Put a great stroke on the ball. Often stretched out, as you often mention.
Well, he's got a great stroke anyway.
When you're stretched out often enough, it's like the English you think you're going to get on the ball. Well, he's taking a 9-8 lead.
Well, that was a nice kick he made on the 1 ball. And again, I give the guy all the credit in the world, Ed. He shot that absolutely the proper speed to have the best chance to have good things happen to him.
He certainly didn't back off on the shot for sure. It's interesting to note so far that Mike seems to be winning the safety battle, and that seems to be the only difference.
That's true. Well, that was an inadvertently mishit safety that Johnny played there.
Giving Mike the shot, yes.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like not getting the ball to the pocket. If he had gotten the ball to the rail and then didn't end up behind the 8, fine. But he didn't.
Now Mike's changed his break. He's going to the other side of the table.
Well, he didn't make anything his last 2 times. Let's see what occurs here.
And he's, again, empty.
Well, I don't know what to make of that.
They were breaking so well in the first half of the game. Now it seems to be that the break is hurting the
Now here, I like to just pull him the cue ball behind the 3.
You don't pocket this 1 in the corner. I think he has the full pocket there. I think Johnny's looking to get offensive here.
If he's got a full pocket, sure he can do that.
I think he's going to play the 1 in the corner. I don't understand why he, being down 9-8, that's probably why. I don't know if he's given Mike has given Mike a window here or not.
Well, even if he didn't, he can take out the jump cue.
Yeah, he only has a small part of the 3 to jump over, as opposed to a whole ball. He may even use his playing cue to jump here.
See, I liked hitting that one a little thicker because he had the 5 and 6 in which to have the one behind too. I liked that shot because you can do it every single time you attempt it.
I think we're going to see Mike jump here because if he tries to massé the ball a little bit, he has that serious scratch potential.
Well, he might be able to twist this.
He very well may have the ball. It's hard to tell from this vantage point if he has the one ball.
Well, we might even see him take a bank at it if he has that much of it. Oh, if he's got the whole ball, jeez.
I think you'll see him bank it up here by the 3. Would that be the right shot with a little follow?
No, because he'd have to hit it too perfectly. He has a 6, 7, 9 to worry about the one hitting. That'll be his last choice there. But see, if he cuts at this ball, he's got the 2, 4 to leave the one behind, but no natural.
I don't think he has that much
ball.
of the left side of the one to thin it over to the 2, 4.
Well, I think he does. But otherwise, he would not have stepped up to the table with a level cue. Possibly.
I mean, I believe he has a thick part of the one. But do you think he can hit the left side of this one?
I don't know. I don't know.
Call this a fairly crucial shot at 9-8 in a race to 11.
Oh, this is a big shot, sure. See, I think he's going to draw it with a touch of left English. Got a lot of stuff to put the cue ball behind. 9, 4, 8. Now that's what he's looking at.
Well, I think what's going to happen, he's going to hit the 1, which is probably going to bank into the 9. I don't think he has enough of the 1 to cut it over by the 4.
No, I'm talking about he's going to bank it one rail.
Yeah, but I think the 1's going to hit the 9 when it comes out.
No, he's all right. No, he'll get around the 9, I think.
Oh, he had a little bit. That's exactly what you talked about, going over behind the 4 and the 2. Got a little lucky with the 8 helping him out.
Well, Mike doesn't miss many safety opportunities. He's a very astute player.
A lot of traffic for that 1 to hit to keep it up at the end of the table. Had it not hit the 8, I think it would have gone back down, giving Johnny a shot.
Well, again, a lot of good things could happen there.
Well, Johnny does have the 1 ball the way he's looking here.
Well, he might be able to see the whole ball here. I don't know. But I'm not sure. If he had the whole ball, looks like he maybe would already have shot this.
Is he looking at a billiard? The billiard from the 1 to the 3? I don't believe.
Well, that's not a bad shot because if he misses that, the 1 will hit the 3 a little thickly, go over to the side rail and back on the in rail.
What a great shot. That's really close. And he's come up a little difficult on the 2, unfortunately. Again, we were talking before about becoming so preoccupied with a billiard or a combination, it seems like the cue ball position becomes secondary.
Well, he's pretty unfortunate in that the 3 tied up on the 7 ball. But I think it goes in the lower right-hand corner, so he'll use low left English. Now here's, in my opinion, is one of the prettiest shots in pool for the
draw
purist.
3 rails.
No, he won't draw it. He'll just above center, maybe just a touch of left English, and he'll go 2 rails there, I think. I don't think he'll draw this. I think he's got more angles.
Follow it around the 6 ball, come up
Right.
at the end of the table, coming off 2 rails.
But it's a very tough shot.
Yeah, I believe the 9 ball would probably hinder his drawing the ball 3 rails.
He can't force it to the side rail above the 5 and below the side.
He appears to be digging in here. He may yank it over 1 rail to play in the corner.
That's
taking your shot. What a great play. It is absolutely.
I love that shot, and it takes a lot better hit than one might suspect. Well, both of these players there, they're going to take the right route to the next ball.
Boy, the routes they do take.
That was the highest percentage play. Now he'll follow this 2 rails, probably. No, he's a little straighter than.
I do think he wanted to go down a little further than that. Perhaps 2 rails would have been the better shot.
Well, I thought it was the right shot, but he was straight in enough that perhaps, once in a while that high English will grab and you can actually scratch even when it's not straight in. This is fine. When this rack is over, we're going to change tapes and we'll be back momentarily.
What an exciting match for the crowd here. It's going looks to be that it's going to be 9-9 and a race to 11.
Does indeed. And this has been a pretty well played contest.
We've missed one ball apiece, is that right? Sigel has missed one ball and Johnny has missed one ball.
Yeah, one reasonable shot apiece, I think is all. A little straighter in than he wanted. Spin it long. Left English. Now again, just below center.
A little low right
English.
to rail it out.
Sure. That's just as natural as rain to proceed in that fashion. Nine apiece. We'll be right back. Nine apiece.
9 apiece. Now, where does Mike break from?
Well, he's got to make a change.
The chair, because Johnny's breaking.
That's right. See, you caught me unawares there.
You're still playing on the last tape. Well, he was empty the last time he broke from here. He's elected not to make a change at all.
But that's the only time. But where he'll make a change, perhaps, is in velocity.
I think you're going to see him jump all over these balls this time, trying to force the 5 in the lower right corner. Pow, the 5
Oh,
in the
look
lower
at that.
right.
He stopped
ball.
it.
Wow, but still, that is very quickly. I think we'll see that 9. He's parked the cue ball absolutely perfectly in the center of the table. What a great break.
Well, he is not crazy about this angle. If he draws it below the side pocket, a little bit too thick a hit could cause him to scratch. He could scratch across the corner. He might be able to force this 2 rails, right? Just above center, some right-hand English, and go around the 3 ball and go down 2 rails. And he could play the
That's
three.
exactly what he's looking at, it seems to be. That
I think that's the right shot.
punch this past the 3.
Right. Nice,
To rail
natural
it
2
over to
rails.
the upper right part of the screen there.
See, if he could get it just around the vicinity of the 7 ball, he's got the billiard order combination.
Now he's looking at drawing at 1 rail.
Well, he's scared he'll go in the side. We not.
I like him to punch the 2 rails and play the 2-9 combination. After
Maybe
that.
he's straighter in than we suspect. But I think he can get around the 3 here.
I know I'd feel a lot more comfortable if the Q and the 1 were reversed.
I'll see what he's going to do. I think he's going to do my
Punch
shot
this
here.
past the 3. I like that shot a lot.
I like that too. Nicely done.
Watch out for the 7 there. He's in good shape.
And what the pros do a lot of times, they dog through such layout. By shooting it in that fashion, he could hit it with authority and confidence and precision.
What a great match. Johnny's taking a 10-9 lead. Race to 11. What, if you're Mike Sigel, what are you thinking about?
Archer.
If I'm Mike Sigel, and I'm going to try to think exactly like Mike, I'm thinking I'm probably not going to get back to the table, but if I do, Johnny Archer's in trouble.
That's probably what Mike had just, even at a kick, Mike wants another opportunity to get back to the table. Sitting helplessly in the chair is exactly where Johnny wants Mike. He wants to make sure he pockets the ball in the break.
Well, Johnny has to be careful here. If he does allow Mike back to the table, it could easily be his last hurrah.
He's going to try and force this, one of the wings, what looks to be the 4 ball in the lower right corner, which is exactly what happened to be the set. What ball did he go in? It was the wing ball, and he's pocketed 2 balls. Wow, I think Mike Sigel may very well be unscrewing his cue, looking at the layout here if he gets on this 2 ball.
Well, I think he's got to follow this 2 rails around the 8, below the side.
That's the 4 ball, I believe.
No, but the 2 is by the right-hand side pocket.
Yeah, near the 8 there. I believe he's going to take this 2 rails around the 4.
Not around it, outside of it. You can't go around it.
Yeah, okay.
But he's going to go to the side rail. I think.
Wants to make sure he hits this hard enough to go below the 2. I see what you mean.
He wants to go 2 rails and play it to the side, I think. The other possibility, the 2 does go in the corner. He could just shoot the 1 in and go to the end rail and come up about a foot, although the cue ball would be 3 or 4 inches to the left of the spot. Let's see how he decides to do it. I like the 2 rail round, like that.
Put a nice stroke into the ball.
Well, he had to get good position shooting it in that fashion.
Now do you like him to go 3 rails after the 2 ball here?
Well, I don't know what's next here. I can't.
The 4 down in the lower left here.
I like going into the 8 here.
Going into the 8?
If he has the angle, I think. Now, he's looking at going 3 rails here, but that could be a little risky.
He very well may go 1 rail. Or either that or draw with low left and go around the 9 and come out between the 7 and the 9.
I can't tell what kind of angle he's got.
I don't like looking at the 3 rail. He very well could bump that 8.
Well, he could bump the 8 or run into problems with the 7. I don't know if he can follow to the end rail.
He appears to be going 3 rails. Yes, he's hit it. Watch out.
Now, that's what I meant. See, you can get in trouble there.
It is uncanny how often that seems to happen when someone's a little bit of question. Mike Sigel probably is that. If there's someone happy about that, it's Mike Sigel.
Well, I called it, did I not?
Yes, you did. I know you're happy about it also.
No, I'm not happy about it. I'm
wanting to see this go hill.
Well, some of these little peccadillos are because I have executed them so many times myself. I know that when you go close to a ball that you could end up behind, bad things can happen.
Well, Grady, if you're Johnny, I know you're going to hit this at warp speed, being alone there with no balls to get behind.
Right. Plus, hitting it hard lessens the chance of scratching in the lower left-hand pocket.
Does he hit this 2 rails?
No. There's no wind there, two rails. There's nothing to get the cue ball behind, no way to make it, right? I think you go 1 rail into it.
I think you look at making this in the corner all the way.
Well, if you hit it thickly, you could go 3 on the side. You could bank it across the corner. You could get it safe. And I would hit it hard in order to give myself a chance to at least get some separation between the cue ball and
I
the
think
4 ball.
a good thing to note here, knowing you're going to hit the ball very hard, you know the cue ball is going to shorten a little bit, which it did there. And he has gotten away with it. Now, Mike Sigel, if I'm Mike Sigel, I'm glad I'm at the table. It looked to be that this match was altogether over, although Mike has a very difficult shot. At least he does have opportunity.
Maybe we can get a close-up of this. I'd like to know if the 2 ball is frozen. All right, he can't go that way because the 7's in the way. It is frozen, it would appear. Now, I play a safety shot from this kind of situation that hardly anybody in the world does, and I got it from one of Pat Fleming's creations. You double kiss it over by those 2 balls on the right-hand side rail. Use it a little low here. I mean, it's a nice shot.
Okay, if it is in frozen, do you bunt it and let him?
No, I won't. I don't ever want to leave my opponent close to the ball. Now, he's looking at banking this. I like that, too. Mike is a great...
Well, I don't think the ball would be frozen if he's going to bank it. I think he's probably off the rail if he's going to even attempt.
No, the shot's easier if it's frozen from this kind of angle, I think. But I learned that shot from Pat Fleming. This is borderline even being acceptable. I don't think he'll do
Mike
that.
Sigel is no Pat Fleming.
No. For which one of them is eternally grateful? Or both of them, possibly. I don't know.
Well, here we go. I think you're right. I think you're going to see him try to bank this. And again, he's pocketed the ball. Well, although he's pocketed the ball, he's up for another decision. Maybe get another opportunity to bank this score. Or do you try to sneak behind the 7?
Well, see, now that's not a bad role for Johnny Archer there because he snookered himself, and when you do that, things like that happen. Well, I don't think you can shoot at this. There's nothing natural about this. You don't even have to be on the next ball if you make it.
Do you see him trying to go to the bottom rail with the cue ball and bring the 4 ball 1 rail up to the bottom here?
That's not a bad shot. And maybe the cue ball behind the 6.
I don't think we're going to see him aggressive trying to pocket this ball up at the end. Although Mike cuts balls so well, he very well may try to pocket the 4.
Yeah, but you don't have to even be able to get on the 6.
But I don't know what to do here. I think under the circumstances at 10-10.
I think he's got to play safe here. The bank isn't on. It's 10-9, Eddie.
Oh, it's 10-9. Well, watching him play Jack Colavito, a great game of straight pool, Mike cut a ball down the end rail, running 102 more balls and out on what seemed to be an impossible shot.
Well, he likes to shoot, but this is ill-advised to be charitable and so stating it.
He just doesn't want Johnny back at the table.
Well, if he puts Johnny back at the table with a snooker or a long-range shot, there's nothing wrong with it. See, behind the 6, that's the shot I liked.
Yeah, what a great shot. Wow. That is a remarkable shot. Poise there.
If you guys get tired of me calling Mike's shots correctly, let me know and I'll quit it.
First observation was to kick it down to the bottom rail.
You know, we've gone through a whole match here, and I've told you what Mike's going to do every single shot. I know him better than I knew my wives, and that's lamentable. Well, he's got to go 2 rails at this, not 1. Now, this is one you don't shoot warp speed. This is just a medium speed shot.
If he does happen to pocket the 4, he's going to want a shot on the 6. And if he misses the 4 at right speed, it very well could bank back to the middle of the plate there.
I don't know why he's elevating here. It's not necessary to elevate.
Mike again is a little bit happy.
Well, sure, he's delighted.
This match looks like it very well easily will go hill-hill.
I hope Mike watches this match. We kid each other. You know, he can watch me play a match, and I don't know that he's ever been wrong in what I'm going to do. Even sometimes you say, now's about time for Grady to go crazy and hit one into the rail, and he's right there, too. But all kidding aside, I love knowledge and ability and excitement, and this is everything. This is the embodiment of championship pocket billiards.
What better match could they have than a 10-10? Hill-hill.
And we've got exactly that.
And bear in mind, the last two breaks. I don't know. Johnny did make a ball last time. It was kind of low position, getting behind the single ball.
Well, I think Johnny only failed to pocket a ball once.
11 scores tied at 10.
Well, here's where Mike has to be careful. He doesn't want to hit him too hard and
here.
jump
Wow,
the cue ball off the
standing
table.
room only watching this.
And as we might have expected, these 2 great champions have provided us with a good measure of viewing.
And all the ESPN camera people.
Don't forget, a few minutes after this 1 game is over, you're free to go. If you want to stay, that's fine. We'll start letting people back in at 6 o'clock for 7 o'clock matches tonight.
And the rack man taking a little extra time. Well, Mike Sigel took a short break. And I guess we can regale our listeners with, miscellaneous doggerel and trivia. Did he say take a break? Anyway, I can remember bypassing New York City, Eddie, for a number of years because rack boys there ran hundreds.
I missed that. The what?
The rack boys would run hundreds on you, and you weren't assured of getting out with the money in the unlikely event you happened to win.
Well, there are, I believe, what New York Johnny Ervolino was noted as one of the feared opponents when going through New York.
I'll tell you a cute story about that. Freddie Benavegna, who's a well-to-do person, Freddie asked Johnny for some money 30 years ago. And Johnny said in that raspy voice of his, he says, I'd like to help you. I don't have it, but if I had it, you could get it, right? So now 30 years later, here comes Johnny up to Freddie, and he says, hey, you remember that time that you asked me for money and I was going to give it to you and I didn't have it? And Freddie knows what's coming. He said, Johnny, please don't tell me that. He says, I know what's coming, right? And anyway, Johnny borrowed $300 from him. Johnny's a great guy, though. He used to have a backer for the racetrack, and one for the pool room, and one for the card room too.
Well, Johnny, do you know Ken Perry from Rack and Rhythm up in Worcester?
Yeah.
Beautiful room. I mentioned Johnny Ervolino's name, and Kenny looked at me and said, "Here's his watch."
Yeah.
And indeed, it was Johnny's watch that Ken had beat him for.
Yeah, Johnny's a great guy. You know, he was the best player in New York City for many, many years. And that at a time when New York City boasted the likes of Boston Shorty and Jersey Red and Johnny Irish and New York Blackie.
Not to mention the Luther Lassiters who would take a trip.
Yeah, sure. Now, Blackie, he had a good deal going. Every day he'd come to the pool room and he would order a sandwich, a pack of cigarettes, and whatever he wanted to drink, and he'd put it on his tab. You know, and you know, he'd either win gambling, playing pool, in which case he'd pay it, or he'd lose and he'd have his opponent pay it. He never had to have any money. They appear to be doing something here. Perhaps there's a microphone underneath the table. I can't think of any other reason why a camera person or technician would be using duct tape underneath the table. That's where ESPN commentators are, Pat Fleming suggests.
I think Johnny Archer suggested they seal the pockets up for Mike's break.
Well, you know that. All right, here we go. We're back to 10 apiece.
I don't know if Mike is going to break from standing on the chest of the ESPN assistant. I remember the Cornbread Red story you spoke of, where they doubled, finally making the shot, and Cornbread, if you would tell that story about losing for a 16-32.
Oh, we've got a moment. I'll tell it real
Scores
quickly.
10-10. Let's hear it for these two fellas.
But anyway, Red only had $1 in his pocket. He played this elderly gentleman a game of 9-ball for the $1, and he was a bad player. And they played for 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, so on and so on. Pretty soon they had $2,000 or $3,000 on the table, which is where they had the stakes, a little adjacent coffee table. And Red only had $1 invested. You need to realize that to appreciate the story. And Red finally hung the 9-ball up, and the old man pocketed the 9. And Red said, "You broke me. Let me have $300." And the old man gave it to him. So Red made $299.
A better story. Now let's get back to live action here. Being Hill, as they say, with Mike Sigel breaking. Now, does he change the break?
No, and I'm going to tell you why. I like this because he's used to breaking from here, which he has most of the match, and in that manner he'll probably control the cue ball, which is critical.
He doesn't want to scratch here.
No, absolutely not a scratch. If at least he doesn't scratch, even if he doesn't make anything, he's got a chance. The balls could be tied up, he could get a snooker.
Wow, the 9-ball almost was pocketed in the lower left-hand corner, and he almost did scratch. But he was fortunate enough to pocket a ball.
Is that the 2-ball up there by the 7-ball?
Yes, by the 7, and it does go. He's got a little bit of an angle here.
Well, he's got to be careful here. He's got to follow this out, but he's got the 6
and the 4-ball. He doesn't want to get behind either one.
I think he would like to go between those balls, unless I misjudge this particular angle. He wants to keep a nice level cue, and he's limited as to what he can actually do.
He doesn't want to bump this 6-ball, that's for sure. Well, he's lucky to come on rail.
All right, he had a good enough angle to come up in the middle.
A great stroke, perfectly struck. That's the 2-3, I believe, there. And
we may see him play the 4 in the corner, according to what angle he's got. Mike shoots very well opposite-handed. He's going to have a hard time reaching this, being a left-handed player, and I'm sure he does not want to get the bridge. He's looking at this.
I think you're going to see him play this opposite hand. I think he may regroup here. No. Well,
he's fine. Oh, that's the 3-ball. I didn't realize that was the 3. Oh, he's in great shape. One thing that you're going to see Mike Sigel do, he is the best in the world at winning. He knows how to win. He's done it so many times for so many years. I don't know that in recent memory I can ever remember Mike Sigel not getting out from a like situation. He's going to take his time, and And I mention to aspiring players a lot of times that what the pros do is they dog-proof layouts like this. If you can take a shot you can make 100% of the time like this 3-ball and play position in such a way that you're always going to have position. Now you make your way through the rack in that way, how can you not run out?
Well, he's hit that a little bit harder than he wanted to.
Yeah, but he'll turn this in with just a touch of right English. He's fine here. He can go into the 6 lightly, but I don't know that I would do that. That just seems to be the most natural way.
This is absolutely the key shot from here.
Yeah. Or more likely, he'll pull it back below the 6 and plan to play the 6 in the
He has
side
definitely
pocket.
hit this ball, the 3-ball, a little bit too hard. He did not want to be here.
I like using just below center right English and pulling the cue ball right over beneath the 6 and play it inside, like so.
What a great shot.
Now he'll not want to be straight in. He'll pull this back a few inches, right? And plan to play the natural 1-rail angle. And now no power on earth save an earthquake can stop Johnny Archer from preparing his concession speech. Out 1 natural rail.
Mike
And
has
Johnny
to
really played pretty well.
played a great match.
You know, the difference in this match was Mike out-kicked Johnny.
And played out-safed him. When he played the safety, when Johnny was running out and got behind his service. What a great out from Mike Sigel here.
And
Winning.
another big win. And we're used to seeing that.
Well, it looks to be that Mike Sigel certainly is back.
Are we going to do an interview with Mike Sigel?
Not other than winner.
All right, there's not going to be an interview. So, Ed Sheahan, once again, I have thoroughly enjoyed working with you.
Indeed.
And of course, we're going to do some more today, too.
We will have some fun. Thank you very
If
much.
you want
Grady,
to
I've
order
enjoyed
this
myself a great deal.
or any other tape from the great Accu-Stats video library collection, you have only to call 1-800-828-0397. Eddie, it's been a pleasure.